What's up, folks? We got a couple of cool new parts to put on today. All of the build is over, as you folks know. There's a couple of places that I went cheap on, not that it really matters so much, but I want to go ahead and start upgrading all my eBay parts with legit parts. So behind me, as we can see here, I've got a couple of brand new harnesses. All right, so I've got one set of 6-point harnesses from OMP, and I've got a 5-point harness from G-Force. And it should be, for the most part, a simple changeover from the harnesses I have now. The only thing is, since I've got these clips instead of the ends that I need, which actually look like this, I'm gonna have to create my own mounts for that, and I'll show you how I'm gonna do that. So the only end like this that I have is on this piece. All the rest of the ends are clips. So since I'm missing a couple of pieces from this set, I'm actually going to end up salvaging some parts off of my OEM seat belts. I was going to sell these, I never got around to it, and now they're coming in handy. So what I'm probably going to do is take these OEM frame locations, modify them a little bit, and use them to secure the clips onto. And for the 6-point harness, I'm actually going to end up modifying these little strap thingies right here. I'm going to cut the seat belt clip off of that and use that to make a strap so that I can strap these down and mount those. So I don't have exactly everything that I need here, so we're getting ready to make a little trip down to Home Depot. All right, folks, if you don't have parts on your car from this spot right here, you don't have a build. Alright, folks, before I get started, I want to show you guys how I have my harnesses currently attached. As you can see here, they're bolted to the rear seat belt mounting area, and this is actually okay and legitimate to do as long as you have a harness bar. My harness bar is attached to the cage. When I first did this install, I previously had a harness bar that was attached directly to the B-pillars, and it actually went down and mounted to stock frame locations. So if you want to have harnesses, you've got to absolutely have a harness bar, unless your car is set up differently and you can bolt them further towards the back of the car. But the thing about harnesses that some people do, the ricer way to connect them is to bolt them down to the bottom of the seats and run it straight up the back of the seat. That'll actually get you killed. There's basically, if you mount your harness to the seat bolts and run it straight up the back of the seat, you might as well ride with no seat belt. So pretty much the racing rule for the harnesses is that it has to come down from the back of the seat at no more than a 20-degree angle from the frame pivot location, or whatever you want to call it. So with this harness bar in here, it meets that criteria. It will redirect the energy properly in an impact situation. And so that's pretty much it. So I'm going to go ahead and pull these bolts out, remove these harnesses. The other two bolts are here to the stock seat belt location, and right there to the other stock seat belt location. So I'm going to go ahead and unbolt everything, bolt the new harnesses in, and instead of bolting to the floor like I had before, I'm actually going to do what's called wrapping the harness, and I'm going to wrap it directly to the bar. Alright, so before I put the driver's side buckle in, I've got the stock buckle here, and what I'm going to do is salvage this part right here that bolts to the frame. This is the actual frame bolt, as you can see. It goes right through this hole, and I'm going to take this end, which is meant to go into some sort of a buckle, and I'm going to bolt that to this side right here using these screws and washers. you can see the first mount that I had to make. It's bolted together. It's not super pretty, but it is functional and it's going to do its job. And I've got two nuts on this end. They're tightened against each other in order to keep that thing from backing off. So that's that. On to the next mount. Alright, so I've got the new lap belts bolted in and I've got those adjusted so that that sits in the correct location. The next thing for me to do, I've got the shoulder harnesses laid in place. They're not attached yet. So what I'm going to do is actually sit in the car, buckle everything up, and try to get it positioned in a general location where I want it. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach the straps to the bar, and then from there I'll be able to fine adjust it with these straps right here. Alright, so the harness is pretty good right where they're at. I just have to figure out a way to keep them in this kind of position once I hop out the car. It'd be helpful if I had somebody around to give me a hand, but it's not a big deal. If you've never used a 4-point harness before, you're thinking about installing them or using them, take a look here. As you can see, the lap belt down here is across my waist as tight as possible. You really want to have this thing tight and low. It should never come up into your stomach area. A lot of people will pull these shoulder straps really tight, and that's going to raise this buckle up into your stomach. That's absolutely the last thing that you want. This thing needs to be down as low as possible, and that's actually where the 5-point and the 6-point comes in, because those actually hold this portion downwards to keep you from sliding out under your seatbelt and to keep the forces going where they're supposed to go. So if you're ever using a 4-point, remember, these lap bands are the first thing you're supposed to tighten, and you want to get these things absolutely as tight as possible before you go and you touch your shoulder straps. And if you tighten your shoulder straps and this thing raises up, you need to readjust. So you absolutely don't want this thing riding up in your stomach or your chest. Alright, and to finish up this side, we're going to go ahead and wrap the harnesses. I went ahead and did this one already. It's really simple to get this, so just make sure you do it correctly. Alright, check it out. That should be a pretty good view for you guys. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to take the free end. The back of the car is this way, just in case you were wondering. You're going to take the free end and you're going to run it straight up through the buckle, and you're going to follow the strap the way that it is. And like I said, keep in mind your spacing from the bar so that you have even spacing. So we've got both of these spaced out pretty evenly because I don't want my straps to be uneven. And I'm just going to continue following the strap as it is now. What I'm going to do now is run this end completely over the buckle and straight out the back. So I'm skipping over this part and I'm going straight out through this part. And depending on what kind of buckles you have, sometimes this part can be kind of difficult because you got so many layers going through here. But on the G4 straps, it's actually pretty easy to go through. And now both of my straps are wrapped. They're in the correct location. And what I'm actually going to do with this loose stuff, some people cut it off and then burn the ends, but just in case I decide to sell these later, I want to preserve it the best I can. I'm just going to roll this thing up and tape it up nice and neat. Alright, and that's completion on the driver's side. So this looks a million times better, it works a million times better. I did leave out the 5th point, which I'll probably install later. You guys don't really need to see that. It's just going to come straight up the middle and anchor somewhere underneath the seat, but I have to make a new anchor point and I don't feel like doing that right now. Alright, so again, I have my 2 mounts here. I salvaged these links from the stock seat belts, and I went and picked up these little, what do they call them, chain links from the hardware store that you saw me grab earlier. This end here gets bolted to the frame. This end here is going to go onto this link. I'm going to tighten the link down. And then the end of the harness, which is like this, is going to clip directly to this link. And that's how that's going to be installed. Alright folks, the install is complete. I haven't finished wrapping the straps on this side yet, but I just have to clean that up and get these straps adjusted over here to actually fit a person because they're just slapped in there at the moment. But everything is done. They look amazing. The new straps, they work amazing. And really happy with the way things turned out. So this is how you put racing harnesses in a car, folks. Thanks a lot for watching, and we'll see you next time.